notice your own presence. Notice that it certainly feels, well, notice that you are, and just notice that. Just notice that there's a sense of existence. Okay, everybody, thank you very much. Now, we're gonna move to the deep end of the pool for a while here this morning, just to start out. And once I'm done with that, then you guys can go anywhere you want, like I mentioned it. So I want to talk to a little bit about what I'm just going to call, for the sake of breaking it away from any other terms that we might use, is I'm going to call it ultimate oneness, which means I don't know what I'll be talking about because I can't know what that is. There is a strong sense that it is, and that there is nothing other than the ultimate oneness, divinity. There's divinity, and there's nothing else. The only thing that can ever notice this dream, because this is the dreaming, this is my dreaming, or you can say the same thing. This is divinity's dream. And this is a dream character that's talking to you. And you are dream characters who are listening. In this dream, it is exactly like a nighttime dream. There seems to be a lot going on. There seems to be like separation of objects and things, and seems to be some level of organization and even complication, but none of that is true. There's actually nothing happening other than the dreaming. And I understand that as human beings, we have the relative life to live. No reason to avoid that, no reason to shy away from it, no need to apologize for it. We can just notice that there is such a thing. So the only thing that can notice the dreaming is the dreamer. And the dreaming is all that ever happens. And I'm not telling a bunch of characters or units this. I'm sharing this known knowledge, funny thing to say, this knowledge with myself only, because there is nothing other than myself. I don't know what I am. I have no idea what I am. I don't know that there is a what, even. I'm certain that there is no where I am. And there is certainly no when I am. The I am is actually the first bit of the dream. When we know I am, it means the dream has started. What we are is prior to the I am, whatever that is. And this is not going to do, this talk's not going to do you much good unless you actually seize it. If this becomes just thinking fodder, it probably won't do you any good, but hopefully it won't do more than annoy you a little. So, given that divinity, I don't even want to say oneness because it's not oneness, it's divinity. We can say from a relative position that this is all oneness, and it's true, it's one dream. But there's not really any separation between the dream and the dreamer. So there's just, we could say this dreaming, and we can know the dreaming, but we can't know the dreamer. Even we can't know it because we are it. There's nothing to know another. There's nothing to know, nothing here to know something else. There is no something else. What you can get from this that can bring relative comfort, if you're interested in that, is to recognize that relativity has not bound you in the least. You are not bound. You don't need to become unbound. You are not asleep. You do not need to wake up. You may be misidentified. You may not be. There is consciousness. Now, which I'm going to use. Well, I'll stick with my normal wording. There is awakeness, and we don't have any idea what that is. It's a word that came here when I got tired of hearing everybody know so much about awareness, because we can't know anything about awareness. We are the awareness, and there's nothing to know. I don't want to say there's nothing, but there's nothing to know. To realize that you are already free, that you are totally unbound, that you are unhindered and unharmed by the world, that there is this apparent experiencing, but that's only apparent. It's a dream. There's no experiencing in a realistic sense. There is no separation in any sense on any level. There's not a little Fred or a character Fred or a unit Fred. All three may be appearances within the dream, but there's no reality to any of them. The reality that is the truest is just this. But I don't mean relativity when I say that. I mean just this pure subjectivity. You are pure subjectivity. As I have said, you are the pure potential, but you don't actually come into being. You remain pure potential always. That's why we can't pin you down, because you're not anything at all. But there is all the potentiality that exists that is not in you, that is you. To begin to recognize that we are this abiding awareness already means that I have to disidentify, if you will, because there's only consciousness. Consciousness can be aware of this dreaming, which means that there is a sense. It's not believed, it's not really a strong sense, but there's a sense of two-ness in the sense that there's me and this. There's only this subjectivity, no objectivity insight. There's no outer space, there's no inner space. There's just this pure subjectivity, and this is the dreaming that is occurring to it. If there's a disaster in your life, it means that within the mind, within the dream, there is a character that is experiencing itself within the dream as part of the dream, and you're not part of the dream. Your subjectivity is purely a sense. The subjectivity that we would think of as being how we're recognized or the organization with which we identify. None of that is true. What's true here, the words are not true because words are symbols and they cannot be true. I cannot share the truth with you because there is no you. That's the truth. There is, but your worries, you've all been offered the opportunity to go beyond that. Some of you have accepted it. Some of you accept that sometimes. But when I say some of you, I don't really mean that there are some of you. It just means that somehow within the subjectivity, there appear to be characters who are awake, characters who are asleep, characters who are clearing, characters who are clearer than other characters, but there are no characters. No characters, there is no relativity. So what is this? It's a dream. There's no relativity to it. There's no reality to it. The only reality is that. You can say that you are that, but if you mean anything, you're wrong. If you mean you are something, even when you say, I can feel it, this doesn't mean we're not going to be able to say this language here. But when you say, I can feel it, what it means is that awakeness is disidentified. Therefore, it appears to be able to feel something else. The vast practicality of this is that it's the opportunity to notice that you are completely free. You have no burden whatsoever. Consciousness, when it is around, is a burden. You are that from which consciousness comes and goes, if you will. This dream is consciousness, and everything is of the nature of consciousness. But there's no actual separation between consciousness and you and that. There can't be separation when there's just one. A good teacher says that you can apprehend this. And I wasn't sure on how he was using that word, and I looked it up, and I would recommend that you do the same. It's without process. It's without apprehender. It's without subject. Excuse me, it's without object. And really, the subject is only pure subjectivity. You are as free now as you could ever be. You cannot be harmed. You are not born, you do not live, and you do not die. You appear to experience other. There is no other. So always you are experiencing the dreaming, which is nothing more than the illusory mirror of the pure subjectivity. It appears to be the expression of subjectivity, but the subjectivity actually never expresses. When it feels like it is right now, that's dreaming. There's may feel like there's deeper dreaming and lesser dreaming, but that's the character believing, oh, I get this, or I don't get this at all. And you either do or you don't, but there's no I there to get it. It's gotten or it's not. Imagine that this is a universe with, those the tiny little wires that they have where the ends of them are lit. Imagine the tiniest wire there ever was. And when you imagine this tiniest wire that ever was, reduce it by 1,000 times to where it's unimaginable. But there's some ghost of something that can recognize that there are they're untold numbers because there really are no wires. It's just this is just a way of trying to describe that which cannot be described. It's no fault of mine because there's no one here. This is itself out of, on the borderline, so to speak, is what it feels like from the character standpoint. There's no character, but there's a sense of character, which is false, completely false. So there is no actual isness. We can say with relative accuracy, which means that we're wildly off the mark, that this is. And when we're referring to relativity, we're absolutely right. And when we're referring to beyond relativity, we're also right. But if we're referring to a beyond, there has to be a beginning, and there's no beginning. There's no beginning, there's no middle, there's no end. There's no age, there's no agent, there is sentience is a dream. Sentience itself is part of the dream. That's the I am. It's the illusory birth of sentience upon which all of this is known by senses that aren't. But we go by the way of the dream. So we can, within the dream, in order not to try to lose our minds while we're trying to allow this to penetrate us, we cannot penetrate this. It penetrates us if it happens at all. Even these are relative terms which are not true, but they are not wasted. And that's all I have at the moment, but I'll take a couple of minutes to just sit before we open the room for talking. Thank you for your attention.